Bienvenidos amigos, esto es el Last Show, estamos aquí con Carlos Chamón y con Elliot Threet.
Oh my gosh, that was a Spanish intro on the last show. Hola amigos, Carlos Chamón gave us our first Spanish. Thank you, sir.
Thank
you, sir. Actually, I have to thank you twice because you were actually my last minute guest at Fiesta Hispania.
That's right.
Back when, it's hard to believe because it's cold as crap now, but it was like 1,000 degrees out.
I know, it was just a couple months ago, September 12th, I think.
You don't even remember the date.
Yeah, I'm a hard-headed fool.
I'm here with my first comedian to go live with ever, Carlos Chamón. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, Elliot. Happy to be here.
You know, the unique thing about this is you are the first, because we're basically a Hispanic network, you're the first comic that I've ever had that speaks fluent Spanish. Can you verify that for me?
Sí, puedo confirmarlo.
All right. So we are at Fiesta Hispania. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we have a lot of listeners who speak Spanish. Well, I'm going to give you the microphone. You can try to tell them what's going on. I'm going to let you narrate as you look around and see what's going on.
Sí, pues aquí estamos en la Fiesta Hispana 2024. Estamos en el parqueo del Kemper Arena, también conocido como el Hy-Vee Arena. Estamos aquí con el grupo Picante detrás nuestro que están haciendo el soundcheck. Estamos aquí todo el fin de semana. Tenemos de todo. Tenemos horchata, tenemos alcohol, tenemos minas. Si usted quiere conocer a alguien, estamos aquí celebrando, todos felices aquí. Muchas gracias.
I think he covered it all here. Now, actually, how long have you been a comic? The first time I've met you. How long have you been a comic?
I've been doing comedy for a bit over 5 years now.
So just so, if you didn't see that, because it was kind of a live broadcast, this is the first comic I ever met from Bolivia.
That's right.
That's right. He's from Bolivia. He's not from Mexico, which
No.
stereotypically and everything like that. Much different, by the way. Much different. It's the same way people kind of group Asians and Koreans and Japanese all together. It's much different.
All different kinds of vanilla.
So did you start comedy in Bolivia?
No, I actually started in America once I
Okay.
moved here, yeah.
Are there any famous Bolivian comedians?
We not stand-up comedians per se. The most we had was like an America's Funniest Videos type
Yeah.
of host deal, but not really a stand-up comedian per se.
So is it safe to say that you're in one of the top 10 U.S. comedians from Bolivia? Is that
I would go
is
as
that
far
as
as top 2. And I ain't 2.
Oh my God! So tell us how you got started in comedy. You came up here, if I'm not mistaken, to go to school in Arkansas,
That's
right?
correct, yeah. 2011, I moved here to go to University of Arkansas. And yeah, well, I started
Why
screenwriting.
Arkansas?
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of good places. I mean, we're not sending you to our best.
It's real nice, all right? No, well, it's kind of funny, you know, Arkansas.
In Fayetteville. It's a very pretty part of Arkansas.
Yeah. No, so if
Where all the smart people gravitate and leave the rest of it. Okay.
Well, Northwest Arkansas is pretty great. The rest of it is, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like Lawrence up here, kind of.
A little bit, yeah. Where the rest of it can just go away. Yeah, you don't need it.
So you decided to go to the University of Arkansas.
That's right.
Did you speak English when you started going here?
I did. I've been speaking English since I was 4 years old.
Because you were about in school, right?
Yeah, I learned about it in school, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Now, just for you know that I Googled the place. He lived in the foothills of the mountains of Bolivia, right?
That's right, yep.
It's an amazing country because you have mountains and the Amazon,
That's correct, yeah.
See, I did my research.
No, you did,
Not
it's
on
right.
you, but on the place you live. It's very intriguing.
I'll earn it,
that's
don't
right.
worry.
Could you see the mountains from your house growing
Oh,
up?
absolutely, yeah.
But you never trekked up there?
I did one time, and then I fell, and I destroyed half my face, and then I never went back again.
What?
We went...
like a Batman villain? You destroyed half your face?
Yeah, no, it was like Two-Face. No, we were sliding down the mountainside with tires, and I hit...
Okay, yeah.
I hit
What can
a
go
rut.
wrong there, right? Were you sliding inside the tire or on top of the tire?
On top of the tire.
Okay,
on top
well,
of
that's
the tire.
much safer.
Well, you
for
still
most
hit a
folks.
rut, and yeah, so I damaged myself, and I vowed never to go back to the mountains again.
Now, after that, do you have to walk back home with half a face? To your
No,
parents?
we drove home in deep shame.
Okay. Oh, so you were driving.
Yeah, we
so
drove
you were
to the
well
mountains.
above the age to know better, and
Yeah.
you still did it. All right. Now I've lost a little bit of sympathy for you. Yeah. So, and of course, I always ask you about this. Tell me how the cuisine differs from Mexico to Bolivia.
Well, so there's a lot less meat in the part of Bolivia where I'm from. The animal that you find around those parts are llamas, and llama meat is pretty tough. It's still edible; you can eat it, but people won't eat it as much because, like I said, it's not like eating chicken and such. So it's a little bit
You've
different.
eaten a llama?
Oh yeah, I've had llama jerky for sure.
This is the first.
It's great. It's great. You should try it. I'll bring some next time.
Llamas. Well, where do you get it here? You just kind of go down to the zoo when nobody's looking?
No, well, you got to get it. You got to get someone to bring it to you. But if I get hankering for it, maybe we'll see.
Oh my God! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! So where did you get started here in? Tell me about. So you got started at Fayetteville. Or you got started in Kansas City.
I got started in Kansas City.
Where at?
At a place called the Rhino.
The Rhino. I
Yeah.
love the Rhino.
The Rhino
in
is
North
great.
Kansas City. I
The-
love
yeah.
the Rhino. It's a great place for comedy. The Rhino. Where is it at anyway?
It's in North Kansas City. We're right on Armour Road.
Okay, there you go. So if you want, and they have comedy every week there, right?
They do. We have an open mic every Wednesday night, and then we have a couple of monthly showcases that happen there.
Okay, well that's pretty good. Can I come down on Wednesday night and do shows?
Oh,
maybe?
please. You're
Okay.
always welcome.
Okay, well that is so cool. That is so cool. All right, so you do comedy at the Rhino. You've done it all over. The last time, I was bagging on you for traveling, and you put up a surprising arch defense for Watertown, South Dakota. Was that where was it?
No, it's South Pier.
South Pier.
No, I think it's just Pier, actually. yeah.
Pier, South Dakota.
Yep.
One of your best shows was in Pier.
One of the hottest rooms in the country, and I'll stand by it.
There you go. Well, I've got the reports. They said you're the funniest Bolivian comic to ever come through there. So, again, you have that to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because we were talking about Mexico, and actually you have some thoughts about building a wall. We're going to watch those thoughts with Carlos Shimon when we get back on the last show in Tel Aviv.
I feel like we should have built the wall because, relax. I don't know if you guys know this, but 70 to 80% of all immigrants enter the United States through air transport. So, like, a wall wouldn't cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a ceiling too. And Hispanic people run the roofing business, y'all. Come on, build the wall.
Carla, first of all, how do you pronounce your last name? Because everybody has a hard time pronouncing it.
It's cha, like the cha-cha slide,
Uh-huh.
and moan, like the sound you make when you hear the cha-cha slide.
Or you told me, I was trying to pronounce your name, and you said, like Michael Jackson.
Like Michael Jackson, Chimone.
So let me ask you this. You've taped a lot of shows and everything like that. Where do you want to go with comedy anyway?
Well, wherever they'll have me at this point, please. But I'm not above shameless advertising. Book me.
We could have done it here then, huh?
We could have done a Don't Tell right now. We can do one real quick. Let's line them up. We got some chairs, yeah.
Have you ever done a show in all Spanish before?
I have. I did for my first all Spanish set this year, actually, opening for Angelo Colina.
Well, why don't you tell us? It can, if you do another all Spanish comedy show, I'd love to bring Joseph out and we could tape it.
No, that would be amazing. Yeah, we would love to. It was over
Yeah.
at the what is now the Funny Bone. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So you're gonna do another one?
Hopefully, yeah. Again,
How well was it received?
it was pretty well. Honestly, it was so rewarding because I was very nervous leading up to it because I'd never done that before in all Spanish. I'd done bits and pieces, but never the whole thing. And
You're used to talking it out in English, correct?
right, exactly.
Yeah. So it's weird to kind of talk it out in Spanish.
Well, and in translating some of my bits, I lost a lot of them. There's a lot of bits that weren't able, they just didn't translate well in Spanish because they were heavily referencing a lot of American stuff. And, the audiences there were a bit more Latin American, they were more Mexican, so they weren't going to get some of those references anymore. So that really threw me off a wrench.
Well, I mean, a lot of people. Can you give me an example of a English bit that doesn't translate into Spanish?
Not on camera. I'll whisper in your ear later.
So it has something to do with maybe the blue comedy.
A little, it's a bit on the bluer side.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because again, my Spanish is poquito. If somebody if a woman is very well endowed, what do they call them in Spanish?
Oh my God, that's because well endowed is.
Say it, damn it! Say it!
I'm sorry, please put it on. I'm not ready to go. I'm sorry, Mom.
Well, I mean, because I'm going to be remedial here, you know, because our last guest from last week, Jack Mario, he took a college Spanish, didn't know a lick, so screw that guy, right? And so, are all the bad words are all the same, right?
Not really, to be honest with you. What's interesting is...
I mean, we have the F word, we have the B word, and...
Well, I was going to say the F word is difficult to translate into Spanish, actually.
Really?
Because it's such a versatile word. It can mean so many different things that once you translate into Spanish, it's like there's its own... every usage has its own curse word in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, it's very... etymologically speaking, of course we can't say it now, but...
So, yeah,
you know what I'm talking
basically, so the word in Spanish for F is different sexually than it is I don't like this guy, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
But they both are individually curse words.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
No, it's very interesting.
So who were the comedians you started? We've kind of talked about this before, but who are the comedians that made you want to be a comedian back in Bolivia?
Well, so that's what's interesting is because I remember you pointed out it was odd because I do like a bit older comedians. You know, Bolivia, we didn't have the newest
You
stuff.
said it didn't get to you as quick, right?
Right. So, you know, to me, it was stuff like Richard Pryor, stuff like Eddie Murphy.
So Dane Cook's big now in Bolivia. You're that
we're
far
just not
behind.
catching up. Yeah. And oh boy, do I hope he doesn't do anything embarrassing. We love this guy.
So it's far behind. Even now, I mean, when you tell your folks and everything back in Bolivia that you're a comedian and they send you a tape, when you send them a tape, what do they say?
Well, nowadays, thanks to the internet, it's gotten a lot better, you know. But when I was a kid, the internet hadn't just started yet, and or at least we hadn't received it yet. So it was a little different. Nowadays, they're pretty hip with it. You know, they'll listen to their Mike Birbiglias and stuff.
All right, so before we did this show, Joseph, our producer and owner, gave you a nice tour of the studio, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
All right, so why don't you just, for our listeners who haven't had the luxury of being down here, why don't you in Spanish just tell our viewers what you saw and about your little tour?
Bueno, aquí tienen de todo. Aquí tienen para poder filmar con tu pantalla verde, para hacer infomerciales, incomerciales, películas, escenas de televisión. Tienen un estudio de audio para grabar cualquier sonido que tengan y también tienen una cámara solo para editar todo. Aquí tienen todos los juguetes, tienen de todo.
Is that right, Joseph? All right, Joseph said, hey, I want to make sure you didn't speak anything out of turn, right?
No.
So it's amazing. You have shows coming up in the future pretty much every Wednesday at the Rhino.
Yep.
On Arm in North Kansas City, we're going to see you.
Yep, and almost every Friday night.
And every
too.
Friday at the Rhino as well.
Well, that one depends. It's called Don't Tell Comedy. We'll do a different venue every show.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that because when you came on the show, Fiesta España, you screwed it up. You told me.
I am on a mission to tell people that Pierre, South Dakota has one of the best comedy rooms in the nation. It is the Great Goose Social Club Room. I am telling everybody.
Yeah, I did tell her. That was that's an oopsies on me.
You're holding it that. Is it safe to say it's not taking place at the Comedy Club of Kansas City? Don't tell. Is it safe to say?
Well, you know, if I were to tell you, that would be telling. So I can't spoil that
You cannot
surprise.
disclose anything.
But we love the club. We love the club.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to play one more bit of yours and then we're going to come back. But this is Carlos's thoughts about the N-word. We'll be back on the last show on Televita.
I feel like white people have their own version of the N-word that they should use. I think the white N-word is a fella. It works for everything, dude. Like Chris Rock was a white comedian. He'd be like, there's two kinds of people. There's white people and then there's fellas. Or if you ever get mad at someone, be like, hey, listen here, feller. You got the hard on?
Like the way you handled the N-word there, Carlos. Very artfully done.
Thank you.
Done like a shrewd Bolivia. That is great. But I want to thank you for being on the last show and performing at the Rhino. But again, because you are our first fluently speaking Spanish guest, why don't you wrap up the show for us today?
Absolutely. Muchas gracias por vernos, amigos y amigas. Estamos aquí cada semana en el Last Show, aquí con Elliot Treat. Nuevamente, yo soy Carlos Chamón. Un gusto estar con ustedes.
Adios.
How many other Bolivians are living in Kansas City, would you say?
Oh my God, I think we're a small colony. I'd say maybe about 20 of us. I don't know. Call me, find me, please. I'm out here. I'm looking for all of us. Por favor, búsquenme. Bolitas juntos. O si no gana la inmigración, ¿ya?